The 2024 NBA Draft provides the Toronto Raptors with some extremely interesting opportunities to not only maybe trade down in the draft, but also trade up into the lottery. And in this video, we're going to go through 3 specific trades they could make on draft night to shake things up. Let's get into it. Earlier in the week, I was live on the Bleacher Report app, and I was discussing some Raptors mock trades concerning the NBA draft, and I wanted to go through 3 of them here today on Amateur Sports 2, the second channel in the Amateur Production Network, where I do additional Toronto Raptors videos just like this one. Check out the main channel, Amateur Sports, and subscribe to this one, Amateur Sports 2, for more Raptors content here. So, 2 things that I'm going to be going through from the trades today are going to be the Raptors actually being able to trade up into the lottery if they do feel as though they kind of fall in love with one of the prospects in those areas. But I also feel like that 31st overall pick provides some really interesting opportunities for the Raptors to secure some assets. And there could be an opportunity as well for the team to trade down a little bit. So we'll get to that at the end of the video. But firstly, let's go through a trade that involves the Raptors using their draft capital to move themselves up in the draft. They have to really like somebody they could get in the lottery. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Maybe it'll be a draft night decision where they think, hey, can't believe this guy has fallen as far as he did. Let's go get this guy. And the guy that could be in that position could be somebody in the 11th overall pick range, where the Raptors, usually when you're trading up to this degree, even if it's only 19 to 11, you do have to give up 2 first-round picks in order to make that happen. So I think that the 2 that make sense, well, obviously, this year's pick, the 19th overall pick, you move up from there to 11 from the Chicago Bulls. And you also would have to give away another first-round pick. I'm suggesting that it could be the 2026 first-round pick that the Raptors received from the Indiana Pacers in that Pascal Siakam trade. This would be one of those cases where they really like a player that fell there. For the Bulls, I can just see the wrong guys falling to them. There is a good degree of talent in the top 10, but the Bulls don't really have a lot of a say in like who's going to fall to them there. So if they're not really in love with the player in that range, the Bulls could come off of that spot, secure some additional assets for the future, and kind of wipe their hands clean of that pick and not wanting to really make a mistake there. And if somebody falls like Ron Holland, who I don't think is a great fit for the Chicago Bulls, but could be a good one for the Raptors, I could see the Raptors pulling the trigger on something like this to bring in a player of Ron Holland's qualities, a switchable forward, good defender with good upside. I think that's the type of player that Masai Ujiri has typically liked to work with in the past. And honestly, this current Raptors team doesn't really have that sort of archetype of a player on the defensive end of the floor. So again, I could absolutely see the Raptors making a play for somebody like Ron Holland, maybe in this spot. But whoever it could be, the 11th overall pick could provide an interesting opportunity for the Raptors. So let's move into another one here. This is another example of the Raptors moving up, but it's more so the player that they're offering in this trade to move up that is getting you the value to actually get a lottery pick here. And another team that could very much move their pick on draft night, especially if the wrong player falls to them in this position, could be the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings could come off of that 13th overall pick, and they're more in win now mode. They were disappointed with how they finished last season, and they want to start putting things right this year. And I think that having Bruce Brown for a season could be an intriguing opportunity for this team. And I think they may give away the 13th overall pick to make it happen. Now, I might be selling this trade short for the Kings. I've had Bruce Brown and the 31st overall pick going over to Sacramento. It might cost that future first potentially alongside Bruce Brown in order to make this one happen. It might cost the 19th, in which case I wouldn't do the 19th with Bruce Brown, but maybe the Kings go for Bruce Brown for a year plus that 31st overall pick. The Raptors would receive the 13th overall pick, and David Mitchell's more so just a placeholder here. It can really be any player. I've just added in Davion Mitchell because, maybe the Kings are ready to come off him. Hasn't really worked out with Davion Mitchell so far with Sacramento. The shooting just hasn't clicked like it did in his stint in college. So, there's a possibility that they see an opportunity here with Bruce Brown. I mean, the player could be Trey Lyles as well if David Mitchell. But bring in Bruce Brown. Good handler, good switchable player. Good fit for the team that wants to try and win. Get a pick as well. And they'll come off the 13th overall pick. The Raptors could see maybe somebody like Nikola Topic fall in this range here. The point guard out of the international point guard out of Serbia, who's got great height, great point guard tendencies, just has had injury issues. And maybe that's just too far for a player of his caliber to fall. the Raptors feel as though, hey, let's make a strike here and try to go for a player like this with the 13th overall pick. I could see the Sacramento Kings coming off of that spot for sure. I think a lot of teams will be eyeing that Sacramento Kings pick for trades at the draft. One of them could be the Raptors. But I said the last trade I wanted to go through in particular was in the 31st overall pick getting traded away. Now, what's very interesting about this 31st overall pick compared to other seasons is that the second round of the NBA draft is going to be on a second night now. So the Raptors, who have the 31st overall pick, will have the first pick of the second night of the draft, meaning they have a whole night and a whole extra day to move the pick, to try and trade the 31st overall pick and field offers for that pick. And perhaps over the course of that day, some rumblings come out about a certain player going a bit higher than expected, and the Lakers wanting to take care of their superstar player LeBron James, try to make him a little bit happy here. Perhaps a player like Bronny James is slated to go earlier on in the second round than we thought. Well, maybe the Lakers move on up ahead of them with a 31st overall pick going to LA. The Raptors also adding on a 2026 second round pick to sweeten the deal. And maybe the Lakers move up with that 55th overall pick, and they decide to move on from a guy they drafted last season, Jalen Hood-Schifino, who was 17th overall, I believe it was, to the Lakers in that range last year of the draft. I was a fan of him pre-draft. Honestly, has not had a great start to his NBA career, did not do so well in his rookie season with the Lakers. But that being said, there's potential there, and there is a better developmental opportunity for the player with the Raptors. I would be very intrigued by the opportunity to work with Jalen Hood-Schifino from a developmental standpoint, coming off the bench as a guard, getting a better run at things with the Raptors compared to what he was with the Lakers. And maybe the Lakers see, a team in the early parts of the second round going for Bronny. They got to leapfrog them and get the guy that they want there. Maybe that's a play for the Lakers. I don't know. This one's tougher to come up with, but I wanted to come up with a trade that involved the 31st overall pick. This is a fun little mock here. I don't really find this one too realistic, but hey, maybe the Lakers really want Bronny James. Overall, I think for the Raptors, the likeliest outcome for the draft is that they just select with the 19th and 31st overall pick. It's not that strong of a draft class, so sacrificing assets to move up, just don't really feel like you're going to get your bang for your buck in any sort of trade there, unless somebody you really like falls a lot further than they should have, and then you think, okay, well, this is just too good to pass up. Let's go and get this guy, understand who we have, and we'll forget about that additional pick for Indiana. But the Raptors, and the expectation from a lot of people is that the 25 and 26 draft, the 2025-2026 draft, are going to be a lot better. So it might be best to hold your chips for that one. But we shall see. The Raptors certainly have some intriguing options for draft day. We'll see what they come up with, and we'll monitor it all with Amateur Sports. Keep it locked with the channels by subscribing to the main channel, subscribing to the Clips channel, subscribing to this channel you're currently watching on. Maybe check out another video here that I have here. Actually, I'll put my mock draft. I did an entire mock draft of the first round over on my main channel. You can check it out in that live stream right here, and I'll see you again next time for another video right here on Amateur Sports 2.